Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Our next episode is a two-parter of a jam-packed day trip to Yokohama. This week in episode 1, we visit a cup noodle museum to make our own custom cup noodles and then visit a cool spot for shopping located in old red brick warehouses. We'll stop there and return next week with part 2, finishing our day trip in Chinatown. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, it really helps the channel grow. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and the little notification bell so you don't miss any future episodes. Let's go. Welcome to Yokohama! We've never managed to make it down to Yokohama before, eh?
No, this is our first time.
Yeah, our first time. So we decided to do a quick day trip down from Tokyo.
It's a very accessible day trip. It was only 40 minutes away and it only cost us about 650 yen each.
Yeah, one way.
One way.
Yeah, and there's so much to see and do here in Yokohama. I don't think a day trip really does it justice. So we're just going to concentrate on a few key things that were interesting to us, but just check it out. There's all kinds of stuff you could do, like this massive Ferris wheel behind us. We are not going to check that out, but maybe you would want to check that out. So let's get on to our first stop for the day. We're at our first stop for the day here in Yokohama and we're both very excited. We're at a museum.
It's my type of museum.
Why is that?
Because you can eat the exhibits.
That's true. This is the Cup Noodle Museum. Let's go in and check it out. First stop for the day, as usual it seems, is food. They have a market here that sells noodles. We're not quite sure what to expect, but we're gonna go in and check it out.
Oh my god, they've nailed the atmosphere of this place perfectly. I totally feel like I'm in a hawker's market.
Yeah, they did an amazing job. It brings me back to Singapore when we were there visiting some of the hawkers markets. Even down to the sound effects. Like they got, what is it, tick tick tock tocks? Tuk-tuks driving around and you can hear crowds and people talking in various languages. And the restaurant here is not super busy yet because it's pretty early, but it feels busy just because of the sound effects they got going on.
You know what I am liking about this hawker's market?
What's that?
No humidity. No heat.
Yeah. Very comfortable, unlike Singapore. So there's various different stalls set up throughout the hawkers market. They have representation of many different Asian countries. They obviously have Japan, they've got Thailand, they've got Vietnam, China, Taiwan. And you just walk around and see what you want. And when you pick something, you buy tickets at a vending machine, and each one has its own vending machine. It looks really fun.
I want to go in and I want to stop talking and more eating.
Yeah, let's go explore and pick our food for our snack this morning. So Nicole wants to have the tom yum noodles. I'm gonna buy her a ticket. So I'm gonna put in my 500 yen and choose which one she wants. And now comes her ticket. We've got our food and we're seated in the bazaar, and yours smells and looks really good.
I'm so excited to dive in, but I'm kind of scared because they had 3 red peppers beside the one that I ordered.
Give it a try.
Oh my god. I can't believe this came out of the instant cup food stall museum. I don't know why I'm surprised that it's good, but this is blowing my socks off good. This soup, all the flavors. Restaurants I've been to, like real Thai restaurants I've been to, have not had such flavorful and delicious broth.
That
yes,
good, eh?
Oh my god.
I didn't go for anything too fancy. I went for the classic. This company was built on chicken ramen, so I went to their chicken ramen stall, and there you can pick 2 different types of toppings out of all their selection, and I went with pork and cheese, just something a little bit unusual to try. Let me give my soup a try. That's that satisfying classic chicken broth. That was really good. The portions here, you'll notice, are quite small, and the prices are very, very reasonable. And the reason is because they're trying to promote you to go around and try multiple bowls of ramen from all the different locations that they have represented here. I think one bowl might just do me for now because I want to get out there and then get food outside somewhere. But this was a good way to just take off the edge this morning. Yeah, if you notice that I couldn't stop slurping my soup while Michael has been talking because this is so flavorful and so delicious. A good call. Yeah, so let's finish up our bowls. We have a fun activity booked in about 15 minutes. Looks a little familiar, doesn't it? We were at the same style museum in Osaka, video up here, but this one's a little bit more organized. You only get a set 30 minutes to come in here, and they have groups coming in every 30 minutes, so it's a little bit more orderly, and it's not as jam-packed as the Osaka museum was. So our first step is to buy our cups. We need to exchange some money for change, and then we can get our cups that we're going to decorate. Okay, time to sanitize. Whoa, missed. We've got our cups, and now it's time to decorate them. They have stations set up here throughout this area with lots of markers, and you're supposed to now start drawing on your cup and make your own custom design. I am not artistic. I don't have an artistic hat to put on. You do. You're very good at this kind of thing, so I might have to borrow some of your skills. But let's get drawing and get some cool designs on our cups. Step 3 involved artistic talents going astray. Something went very, very wrong. Yours looks great. We have our own documented travels instant noodle. Shameless plugging. There we are. Where's my finger? I got the ice cream in front of me. You love the ice cream? I love the camera. And how we travel. Very good. And then the other side's pretty fancy too. Mine, on the other hand, that's the help Nicole gave me, and then I ruined it. Show them your portrait of your wife. The only thing I'm proud of on this is my pumpkin and Mount Fuji. My Mount Fuji is pretty good. That's well beyond grade 3 level. All right, let's go on to step 4. Step 4 is assembling our cup noodles. We get to choose one soup base and 4 toppings from this array of options. This step is fun because they demonstrate various aspects of the manufacturing process and an ingenious solution to a problem they wrestled with, getting the noodles inside the cup. Their first attempt was dropping the noodles in, but they'd always get stuck. Their solution? Dropping the cups on the noodles and then flipping the cup over. And that's what we're doing here. We then get to choose our soup base and our toppings. What did you go with? I went with 2 cheeses, mystery meat, and pork meat. And what broth? I went for tomato chili. Yes, and I went for curry broth and 2 cheese as well, and a shrimp and a crab. So a seafood curry cheese. I went with meaty cheese. You did. The next step is to seal up our delicious creations with more demonstrations of the manufacturing process. They show us how they seal the lid to the cup. We're well versed in removing these lids, but not so much on putting them on. With the cup noodles properly sealed, one more layer of protection is added, shrink wrap. And here we can see where the shrink in that name comes from. The cup is put in a wrap and passed through a heated chamber which shrinks down the wrap. A very thoughtful last step is protecting our cup noodles so they don't get squashed during the rest of our day's activities. Is this absolutely necessary? Probably not, but it's a lot of fun encasing our custom cup noodles in a protective bubble. And now you'll know what the red string around us is during the rest of our day. It's not all fun and games here at the Cup Noodle Museum. There actually is a museum where you can go learn some stuff. It's also quite a lot of fun. Let's go check it out. The museum is full of lots of fun ways to visualize the company's history, like this wall showing the lineage of their instant ramen products, a theater where you can learn through videos, timelines of the company's accomplishments, and a visual display of how much ramen is eaten by country. But our favorite part is the recreated hut where the inventor of instant noodles, Momofuku Ando, spent months of trial and error perfecting his technique. Do you know what his secret was to creating instant noodles? Let us know down in the comments if you do. As you leave the museum, you're left with an inspirational message. Did you enjoy your second go around at the Cup Noodle Museum?
Yes. Yes, I did. And that tells you how awesome this museum is, because even the second time around, it's so much fun.
Yeah, we did this, 3 years ago when we were in Osaka. Their first location is in Osaka, and this is their newer location. And I'm so glad we came here because they're very similar in the experience, but they're also quite different. The buildings are very different. This one's way bigger, way more spacious. Modern. Yeah, and the other one did not have the noodle bazaar. They just had sort of a cafeteria with vending machines, and the bazaar was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I like the bazaar because they had somebody making fresh food for you. Although
the vending machines were kind of cool because you got to try ramen from different areas of Japan that's you have to go to that specific region to get. So we were able to try different stuff than we were finding where we were. So overall, great experience.
And the souvenir. Don't forget about the
souvenir. So making the cup noodle is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun watching you do good art. It's some fun trying to do good art. But what's really fun is making your own custom cup of noodle flavors. So you get to choose those 4 bases. You got all the toppings there you get to choose 4 of. And then they seal it up and you take it home with you. And that's the fun part, is when you get home and you eat your instant noodle and you get to relive the trip.
Yeah, and we still have our cups from our previous trip that we decorated.
Yeah, we have a collection. We're done here in the Cup Noodle Museum. We're gonna head out to our second spot in Yokohama. Let's go. We're at destination number 2, and this is called the Red Brick Warehouses. This is a shopping complex that has been built into reclaimed red brick warehouses.
I'm so happy they don't tear these old buildings down and they find new life for them, because there's not very many left and they're far few between to find.
Yeah, and it's cool because this gives you a glimpse at Yokohama's history. Up until the late 1800s, it was basically a small fishing town. But once Japan opened up to foreign trade again, this became one of the main hubs where foreigners were allowed to come and dock. And so it really grew to become the powerhouse that it is today, Japan's second largest city. The walk over from the Noodle Museum was quick, it's a 5-minute walk, but in between here and there was a really interesting sort of bridge. It's called the Circle Walk, and it's a round bridge that goes around a huge intersection and lots of traffic.
It looks like a sculpture. It looks like you're walking a sculpture. That's cool.
It was really neat. It swayed a little bit. Did you notice that?
Yes, I did.
So we're here, we're gonna start exploring, but I think first up is a drink. I need some caffeine.
You need caffeine.
I am feeling it.
Forget the liquids, just get the caffeine into you.
Just inject some caffeine. A little bit of a nibble wouldn't be bad either. I'm kind of hungry. So let's start exploring and see what we find.
When you said a nibble in the previous segment, I was like, huh?
Yeah, as we were looking for food, I guess I realized that I was way too hungry for just a nibble. I think you already knew, apparently, from that comment. So we found a place in here that does burgers. And I was just saying to Nicole, I'm feeling like a burger. And that spoke to me, and I think we both ordered the burger.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad you're getting a burger, because if you've been watching our previous videos, Mike's been talking about how I've been hankering for this, hankering for that, and hankering for God knows what. So I'm glad we're getting something that you've been hankering after.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to it coming, because I am really hungry and a burger is just gonna hit the spot. This place is really neat, eh?
It is. It's fancy.
Yeah, the restaurant you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about the red brick buildings, but I guess we'll get into that after lunch. The burgers showed up, and they are small yet massive. They're small this way, but they're very thick. So I'm not sure how dainty I'm gonna be able to eat this thing without it exploding everywhere. Let's give it a try. That's a very good burger. It has a very distinctive flavor that I can't quite put my finger on. It's very juicy, as you can probably tell. I'm dripping it all over my fries.
It's a Wagyu burger.
You can taste the richness from the fat in the Wagyu, I think. That's really good. I'm really happy we came in here.
Right off the bat, I'm just gonna disagree with Mike. This is not a tiny yet massive burger. This is just a tiny, tiny burger. Yeah, it's tiny. The taste is not what I'm expecting at all. They have a couple of slices of tomato at the bottom, and those are for some reason very, very strong. I taste a lot of the cheese, and I think that's a manto cheese. And the burger meat itself is, I taste a lot of onion, but I just don't taste a lot of super beef flavor. And I'm a bit surprised because this was a premium burger, a premium Wagyu burger, so I think my expectations might have been a bit higher. The second bite, the meatiness does come through more, and it is very juicy. I like the burger, I don't love the burger.
I'm gonna have to disagree with Nicole. I think the burger is fantastic. That juice is beef fat. And when I was trying to get that flavor profile to explain, it was that. It's like when you get a nice juicy steak and it's got a good marble and it's that's melting and you're getting that flavor. That's what I'm getting out of this burger. I'm very satisfied with it. Maybe not the size, but definitely the flavor. The burger's gone. It's been gone for a little while. It took me a bit of time to recompose myself. I think I shed a tear when I had my last bite. That was really good and did really hit the spot. For someone who wasn't so into the burger, you sure polished it off quick.
Did I clean my plate? Yes, yes I did. Were the fries fantastic? They were superb. But that burger, that was a tiny burger. So it doesn't take a giant person to eat a tiny burger.
We're starting to lose daylight again. We seem to be fighting that every day. That's because the sun sets before 5 o'clock now, 4:45, and it'll pretty much be gone. So I decided to come down to the port. I abandoned Nicole. She's off in Red Brick Warehouse number 1. I think we were eating and exploring number 2. And I wanted to see what the port area was like. And right here beside the red brick buildings, it's beautiful. A lot of space, a lot of seating, green space. Well, maybe it's not super green, but it's grassy space. And I'm a sucker for the water. I always love to come down to this kind of an area and just watch the activity out on the water, watch boats coming and going, any helicopters or planes, any of that kind of stuff always attracts me. And there's a really cool Japan Coast Guard boat down here, really big boat. A ferry just came into port, and there's a lot of people out enjoying the cool weather, and the sun is casting a beautiful golden hue over everything. I also noticed something kind of interesting. There's a museum here which is all about Korean spy ships. I'm not sure what that's about. I'll have to look it up and see. That's interesting. So I'm gonna sit here, enjoy my coffee, and wait for Nicole to finish exploring Red Brick Building number 2. I'd say site number 2 was a real success. What did you think?
Definitely a success. I really like the vibe here. The buildings are really cool, and the goods that they're peddling, they're not mall goods.
No, that's what gives it that cool vibe, is that all the shops are very unique and individual, and you have a good mix of clothes and food and crafty stuff.
That are made in Japan,
Yeah.
or either made in Japan, are local to this area, or at least crafty and artsy.
Yeah, and the buildings themselves are pretty amazing to walk through. They've left a lot of the detail of the old warehouses, like the barn doors and the massive hinges or whatever you would call them. A lot of steel work is still exposed with huge rivets, and it's just a really fun place to come and walk around and explore.
Yeah, we've been here for a couple of hours.
Easily,
and didn't
yeah.
realize that the time went by so fast.
Yeah, and they also have food options here. So they have like, you can buy snacks to take home with you or souvenir, like food souvenirs, but they also have a little mini food court, and there's quite a few options there to eat at, or there's the sit-down restaurant that we ate at. There's also a second story on the main building, and we didn't get up there to explore, but there's also restaurants up there. So it totally could spend easily 2 or 3 hours here sort of having a lunch and exploring the buildings, and then not to mention the grounds around the buildings.
Yeah.
I love that Yokohama seems to have made a priority to keep some of the port area open to people, and it's not just completely developed for industrial usage. There's like parks up here, and there's benches, and
Community space.
yeah, there's community space, and there's people sitting and enjoying it, so that's great to see as well. But I think it's time for us to head to site number 3. We've pretty much lost sunlight. It's just the last probably 10 or 15 minutes of it. It's almost 5 o'clock, but we don't need light where we're going. So let's head over there now and start exploring that section of Yokohama. It's only been a few minutes since we left the red brick warehouses. You can see them off in the distance behind me. And then we came to a park, another really nice park down by the water's edge. I love that Yokohama has made this a priority. This park is really nice looking as well. It's a really attractive park, really well maintained. And I like how they've lit up the pathways. They use low lights just to sort of give all the paths a nice glow. And at this time of day with the golden light coming from what's left of the sun, it's really picturesque. I kind of want to go for a walk in here, but we're kind of in a rush to our next spot. Rush be damned. We went into the park and spent a bit of time in there. We witnessed the last of daylight in the park and watched it come alive with light. It was pretty cool. And then we were able to see the Yokohama skyline and the amazing Ferris wheel going off, and like, well, in colors I've never witnessed, or in patterns I've never witnessed is the right way to say it. It just was going in really crazy ways that I've never seen anywhere else.
I guess they have the technology for it.
Yeah.
'Cause back in the old days, it'd be change color, and then like a starburst.
Yeah, this was doing starbursts and weird diagonal patterns and all kinds of stuff. Really neat.
So we both really like this park. And I think the one of the reasons why this park shines is the play of light that they use. There isn't any fancy shrubbery or flowers or trees. It's just grass, geometric shapes, and light. And somehow it makes it a very welcoming space.
Yeah, they have some interesting light. Like, it's not just standard street lights. They have spotlights, and they shine a spotlight straight down onto the ground to cast this kind of long bit of light, and it's really interesting to look at. There was a raised platform over a cafe that you could get up to, and I was up there and I could look down and see these weird like casting of light. And then they also had these other sort of structures that were sort of placed out like dominoes. How would you describe those?
Just geometric shapes to really highlight the park is an open space. That's just how I feel. I feel it's completely open and you can just take in lots of deep breath and relax and recharge.
Yeah.
I definitely feel recharged.
I do too. I really enjoyed that little, what, 15-20 minutes maybe in the park. What do you think of Yokohama so far?
It's very modern.
Yeah.
It's a lot more modern and a lot more open than Tokyo and other places that we've been in Japan.
Yeah, I mean, all the areas that we've seen in Yokohama so far, which is just basically down near the port, the water area, seems like someone's putting a lot of thought into developing the area, like planning the area, I should say. It's all very nicely presented, good mix of industrial off in the distance, and then
public
spaces and
restaurant shops.
Yeah, it's like really well done, really well put together. I think in the future I'd want to come and spend 2 or 3 nights here and have a chance to explore a little bit more in depth.
You know, it kind of reminds me of a like North American city, so I can understand like why we would want to like come and visit here for a while, because we're in a congested area for a longer period of time, and then we can come out here and feel like just breathe a bit.
But what's surprising is this is the 2nd largest city by population in Japan, so there's a lot of people here. But it does feel more modern. Like Tokyo feels I don't know, it doesn't feel modern like this does.
It feels modern because they have modern buildings, but there is still so many old buildings that have managed to like cling on.
Yeah.
And then the old spaces where the buildings, the materials, here most of the buildings that we've seen are modern materials.
Yeah.
Whereas in Tokyo, there's still like the wooden structure every now and then.
Right, yeah. So in Tokyo, you get the odd pocket of modern.
Yeah.
And then here, so far, everything has been very modern. All right, I guess it's time to pry ourselves away from the park and get to our third, well, our real planned third destination, now fourth destination. I think we're getting close. There's a hint. Are you excited? You're very excited.
I'm very excited.
There's another hint. Let's get over there. Thanks so much for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed part 1 of our day trip to Yokohama, checking out the Cup Noodle Museum and the Red Brick Warehouses. If you did, please don't forget to like the video. It really helps the channel grow. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the little notification bell so you don't miss part 2 or any future episodes. We'll see you next week.